us for the mid-morning break room. With me, as always, is my co-host Tommy, the Bargain Effect.
Hey, everybody.
Craig should be on his way. He's playing Uber Family right now, so he'll be with us shortly. Also sent a link to Nate Everyday I'm Hustling, so we'll see if he jumps in or not. He may be sleeping. He works late long hours, so he may be with us. He may not. So, anything you want to say to open, Tommy?
No, just I know I missed out yesterday. Good to be back on the show, but I couldn't pass up my hot tub. That was the last day of taking advantage of that, so I wanted to get the most of that. So sorry for missing, but not really.
Touche. I don't blame you, man. Welcome a few people. Kelly, the Econ Mom Ward, you're first in. That means you get brownie points, which equate to absolutely no worth in the real world. But hey, Chris Pie 5. Myra Elaine, glad you're here too. Paul, Gate City Picker, thanks for being here, Paul. David Rubino, good morning. Justin Jacobs, good morning, my man. Veronica, the Cherry Picker, how you doing today? Great to see you, Veronica. Hopefully you have a good day today. Pearl is Precious, good morning to you. Landshark Pickers in the chat. What's up, Craig? Diane Matthews, good morning. Rump Stump Reseller, good morning, Jamie. Good to see you. So yeah, the topic for today, guys, I came up with it kind of on the fly because the topic I had we used yesterday for our show. But I was really just thinking about what's important for your business to grow, what's important for you to continue to adapt with change. And I really think the topic needs to be addressed in the community. Are you willing to learn? Because there's some people who feel like they just know it all and they can't be taught anything. But I've seen it firsthand, especially being friends with Tommy. He's a sponge. He will literally learn as much as he can about every aspect of this business. And it's really, it's inspired me to want to grow as a picker, to grow as, an eBay seller, Mercari seller, soon to be Amazon seller. So yeah, it's one of those things like, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to even take pointers from people who may be in this for less time than you, who may be, right. Brand new to the game? You know what I mean? I think that that's important. Like, for example, one of the guys who's walking me through Amazon is Nate Everyday I'm Hustling, and he's newer to YouTube and content creating, but by the same point, I see a track record. I've seen his numbers on Amazon. He's shown me some of these things, and I can see that he knows what he's talking about. So it's one of those things where I'm willing to kind of set aside, well, I've been on YouTube, like 4 months longer than you, or however, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's like a stigma or not going around, but I just want to make sure everybody knows that there's value in everyone, regardless if they have 1 million subscribers or 2 subscribers. Everybody brings something to the table, and I can't speak only for myself, but I've learned a lot just from interacting with the chat during these live shows. Yeah. You guys have put stuff in the chat that has really made me rethink the way I do things. I've even gotten private messages or emails from people basically saying, hey, why don't you try this or try that? And the minute I incorporate it, boom, like things just start to run smoother. So I thought that would be a good way to kind of stir the pot a little bit this morning. You know what I mean? Like, what are some things you want to learn? It's not necessarily like, are you willing, yes or no answer, but like, what are some things that you'd like to learn? What are some things that you're willing to share with other people? So that's kind of the topic this morning.
Right. And with me, I'm willing to share anything that I know that can help somebody out. I am willing to share it. I don't have any of those, I'm going to keep this a secret because I want to be better than somebody else or whatever. I mean, obviously we all have our little gold products that we don't absolutely want to share out there, but when it comes to knowledge base, I'm willing to share. And what do I want to learn? As much as possible. But now, as of yesterday, got my BMO Harris business account set up, so I'm ready to sling into Amazon. So now what I need is a teacher. I need to be the student because, I know a little bit of the basics that you pick up from everything that people talk about on YouTube or whatever, but I haven't dived real deep into the research on it. So now I need to be the student, and I need some volunteers to teach me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in that same mode right now, man, where, Nate and I have even talked. He's willing to actually even take me out sourcing. And he said, I don't even have to get anything, man. I'll just teach you, like, what are some good things to look for? What are some good things to get? And he was like, and I won't even get them myself because I don't want to jump on the listing and drive the price down for you. And I thought that was, like, super cool. Like, when do you ever hear a reseller offer something like that just to, like, get somebody started and to teach them what to do? I thought that was super cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is real awesome.
That just shows the kind of community we're in, though. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that are willing to just go out there and teach you what they know. Kelly says she's on Amazon if anyone has questions too, so that's awesome. Thanks, Kelly.
The sourcing on Amazon is the easy part. You got to understand where to go and what, but and then it's just scanning stuff. The biggest thing to learn is how to package stuff, how to label stuff, how to price stuff, etc.
That's the nice thing too, because he's going to come over and actually, like, go through an actual shipment with me. That way, like, I know when I send it off, it's going to get accepted and there's not going to be any problems. Because that's the part that I'm, like, most concerned with, because I think I'm pretty good at sourcing. Granted, this is going to be a different type of sourcing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like the sourcing I do, like, for my wheelhouse. Now, granted, I do RA for eBay, but I'm going to be gated in a lot of things starting brand new. So it's going to be interesting, you know what I mean, to kind of figure out what I'm gated in, what I'm not, what are the profit margins as far as Amazon goes, you know what I mean, because it's completely different. Like, from what I understand, Amazon's more of a bulk game where you make small amounts rapidly. So it's going to be one of those things where I just need to adapt. And yeah, Kelly has a great point here. Tiffany, Eat Sleep Amazon, has a Facebook group. I'm actually a member of it, and I actually read the posts she puts out there. She puts out great information, and she's somebody that I'm actually going to lean on too for advice and stuff. And that's another reason, you know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people will say, well, she's only been doing it since February. She's killing the game in Amazon right now. Like, I would take her advice over just about anybody's. And, like, not saying somebody that's been doing it for 20 years or however long doesn't know what they're saying, but I'm saying, like, she eats, sleeps, breathes everything Amazon.
That's probably why our channel name is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, here with the Amazon sourcing, I mean, it sounds real easy. You scan, you see if there's a profit, you buy it, you send it in, right? That's basically what I hear. But then, if it's that easy, what do all these numbers mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, if you're scanning with something like Scoutify, yeah, exactly. The hard part about sourcing is knowing how fast something is going to sell.
Right. And that's where my confusion is, because it's not like it's across the board. Oh, if it's below 1 million, it's going to move fairly quickly. Buy it. No, because some stuff is
the sales right depends on what
some stuff you want below 100,000, and trying to remember what categories and.
Well, it all depends on where it ranks in a certain category, what size that category is.
Right.
I bought books that are ranked 1.5 million, and they've sold in less than a month. Books is a huge category.
Yeah, and I have a lot of books currently at the house that I've been kind of slowly selling on eBay. So I'm excited to be able to send some of those into Amazon, clear the space that I need. But real quick, guys, I just wanted to throw this out. I know I've been mentioning it every day, but she's been, like, super helpful to me in my growth, and just, like, she's been a bit of a YouTube mentor. She's been one of them people that have taken me under her wing. Hip Flippin' Mama, she's within, I think, like, last I checked, 30 subscribers of 1,000. So if you guys could go ahead and sub to her channel if you haven't, I'd really appreciate it. Maybe some of you have more than one account, maybe switch over to your other account and show her some love. And
share it out on Facebook, Instagram, things like that. It's
exactly.
She's getting real close. Last I saw yesterday, she was at like 979 something.
Yeah, she's super close. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would love to, be able to help her grow as much as she's helped with me and growing. So, definitely show her some love, guys. And if you want to drop your number, the subscriber you are to her, please do. It'd be awesome.
She's at 969 right now.
Okay. I think that's what she was.
That's doable.
What's up, man?
Good morning.
And you know what?
Morning.
I actually didn't check to see if I've subscribed on my other account. I have a ministry account that I used just to post sermons on back in the day. So I'm going to switch over to that one and see if I'm subbed to her on there. If not, I'm going to sub to her. But yeah, what's up, Nate?
I didn't get home from work till 2:30 in the morning. So it's been a crazy morning so far.
Yeah, I bet.
My phone wasn't even giving me notifications or anything. I didn't see the link or whatever until I jumped on my laptop. I'm like, so I got to restart my phone and figure out what's wrong with it. How's everybody
talking about learning in Amazon and all that? If you're wanting to get into Amazon, is it called Amazon Academy or whatever? The videos that Amazon puts out.
University.
Not Seller Central. What's it called? Seller University. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the exact name of it. But they've got videos on all the processes that are direct from Amazon. And they're not going to tell you about, when to buy things and all that. They're going to teach you the processes of doing Amazon. But,
yeah, with Amazon, it's not just I mean, it is simple, but there's a lot more to it than just scanning something, saying, "Hey, I'll make $1." There's rank, there's seasonal, non-seasonal items, just like eBay. There's competitors, or how many people is on the listing already. You have to go against repricers and stuff like that. So it's I mean, the main thing is sales rank. That's the most important thing. If you find something that, even if it's a little less of a profit, it's basically like buying something and it's guaranteed to make some money regardless, depending on what the depending on what the rank is. If it's 1,000 rank in say a toy category or a home category, which is has millions and millions of listings, that item selling possibly hundreds a day, compared to something where it's in like say 4 or 5 million, it might sell like one a week or one a month.
Right.
So you really have to learn what each category, the size, and how often the product does sell. Keep is a great tool. That's something I've started really incorporating into my business model and in my studies, as you would say, and sourcing and stuff like that, especially when I'm home. Because it's easier on my laptop looking at stuff. But I mean, that's basically the gist of sourcing on Amazon. I mean, the rank is key, and then just getting your product in the fastest.
Yep. It's different. It's a different mindset for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's till you're on it and see what it is. The sales velocity is crazy. I talk about it all the time, and you have no idea how awesome it is just to wake up, one morning and see you got $400 in sales, and I didn't have to touch anything. I didn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's 8 o'clock. I have a couple $100 in sales already. You know what I mean? It's just
you did have to touch it. You just touched it a couple of weeks ago, boxing all of them bulk.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, I usually do about 6 or 7 boxes a week. I'll send it one time to Amazon. I'll source everything in one day, and then I'll ship the next day. And then the rest of the time is eBay sourcing and work and stuff like that. So
Nate, if I go out, scanning and whatever, and I find things, okay, it seems like these are decent rank according to my little cheat sheet here, and there's profit in it, and Amazon says I can sell it, and I bring it home. Now, when I go to ship those items off, is it going to tell me, okay, this item needs to be in a poly bag, or am I just supposed to know that?
Yeah, it will tell you. When you scan the item if you just use Amazon's app, it'll
That's
tell
all
you.
I have. Is the
It'll tell
seller
you
app.
right after you scan it. It'll have like a little box on the side, and I believe you could click the box and it'll say it needs to be polybagged or it needs to be boxed or whatever. So there's special, there's special,
So
something
you would
special
know
has to be
even
done.
you would know even before you purchase it if there's any special care and
Right.
things to. Oh, okay. I see. I didn't even know that.
Like certain things, like in certain categories, like you want a polybag, even if it doesn't even say it. Like anything with fabric or plush or uh, clothing, they all want to be polybagged because not only
Dirt.
for Amazon, yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's in a warehouse. Stuff could get spilled on it. You just want to protect your item versus it
Right.
could be somebody else's bad business practices of packing their stuff up, and something spills on your shirt that's $100 item. Now you have to figure out if Amazon's going to cover you or not, which depending on where it happens, you're covered, and sometimes you're not. It's kind of a gray area once the item ships. Like you're covered till I guess it gets to the customer, but then they could say it's defective, even though it's an item it can't be kind of defective. I've had that happen a
Right.
few times where I tried to talk to them, be like, "Hey, this item, it's not like a DVD player or something where you can't tell if something wrong with it until you actually use it or whatever. It's an item that is going to work 100%. You know what I mean? And yeah, you got to play by the rules, and sometimes it makes zero sense. But at the end of the day, if you can add that component to eBay, if for example, Anthony or you, Tommy, you guys add that to your business, I mean, you're talking profit wise, at least probably doubling, depending on how much effort you put into it, if not more. You know, I don't know how much you guys do, and I'm not trying to get in your business, but you know what I mean. That's what it could be, and it's not going to take a lot of time away from what you do already. You know what I mean? So it's just going to
Right.
be a great ad. Boom! Here's extra sales, extra business, extra profit. And then once you send it out, you just got to, just check on it online, make sure your prices are right. If you have a pricer, which I recommend getting, maybe not right away, but once you get a bunch of SKUs, probably up to say 100, once you get 100 different items in there, then you want to probably look into getting something like that or whatever, because it's hard repricing hundreds of items. I did that for a quick period on my breaks at work, and I'm sitting there on break and I'm just repricing all the stuff, and I'm like, man, this is hectic. Like I'm like scared. They're not scared, but like I'm so worried about not getting a sell off. You know what I mean? That or getting beat on this price because I went kind of deep on an item that I'm like, you know, taking so much of my time, doing that. So that's why people talk about like replenishables and how important they are. Replenishables help pay for your shipping to the warehouse. Like there's items that I buy every time that are not huge winners, like profit wise, but for what they cost and stuff like that, you know, I'm uh, I'm paying for my shipping, just throwing them in a box, and they sell really quick, and it pays for that. It helps pay for my monthly fees. It helps pay for my shipping. So the rest of the stuff that's in the box is going to be, all profit or, mostly profit.
You've really got to think of it totally different with Amazon. Would I sell on eBay? Would I sell an item? I'm gonna profit $1 or $2? Probably not.
No,
Because of the time it takes me on an individual sales basis.
right.
But on eBay, on Amazon, that $1 or $2 profit could be you're making a lot more money for a lot less effort potentially.
Right. There's items that I spend 50 cents on, and I'll make $1, or even no, I won't, not 50 cents. I mean, I'll spend 50 cents, but I'll make at least $1. Or if I spend $1, there's products that I buy that I'll make $1 on, but they sell a lot, or a decent bid, or it might be a little competitive, but that's what helps pay for that that shipping and stuff like that. And especially now since FedEx has been cut out of the game, because that was cheaper. They did home pickups and everything else. To me, it seems like the price at USPS went up after that. But I mean, it could be just me, you know. I'm used to the FedEx prices where they were a little bit cheaper or whatever, but it seems like they even went up a little bit. So having those replenishables is just awesome, because I mean, just sending out, for example, 2 large Walmart boxes, and say it's going in the same state, like it's going to one of my warehouses in Pennsylvania. It's like anywhere from say $15 to $20 to ship those 2 boxes of stuff up the road. So that's $20 or $15 of profit that that you're losing out on. And if you have to send them out of state, it's going to be even more. So uh, that's just profit that you're potentially going to lose out on a little bit, but it's not, it's not a huge deal, but it's a cost.
Right.
So
good.
This is a bit of a noob question, but when you're getting ready to put your label on the outside of the box to ship it into Amazon FBA, is this a label that Amazon provides, or is this something like you'd have to go through pirate ship to buy postage for?
Amazon will give you that. I mean, you could do your own, but Amazon's going to be the cheapest way to ship for sure.
Okay.
Like I'm sending, 50-pound boxes that are 24 by 18 by 18 in my same state. I'll send 2 of them. I think it's about $15 to $20. Where if you sold an eBay item that was that heavy, it'd probably be double or triple.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to speak to this at all? Because I have physical limitations as well. Lisa's saying I can't do Amazon because of my physical limitations. Is there, like, in your opinion, some kind of workaround that people that have disabilities or physical limitations can do to be able to take advantage of Amazon?
Like having issues like bringing your packages to like a drop-off location, or like I don't
That's
know.
what I would assume, like, or even lifting and moving the boxes or something like that.
You can pay UPS. I think it's like $15. I think it's a week or a month, and they do everyday pickups. And the only thing you do is you call them and say, "Hey, I have 5." Or you go online, or you call them and say, "Hey, I got 5 boxes," and they'll stop by every day and check and see if you have any packages to go out, so you don't have to do that. I try to save as much as I can, because I don't want to eat up too much of my profits, or I'm just cheap. I don't like subscriptions or things like that. And if I do have them, it's like a key necessity for me personally. So um, I try to stay away from all the extra monthly fee stuff as much as I can. I mean, if that's an issue, like for me, I have a little car. I need a SUV so bad. I have to make 2 trips in my car sometimes to bring all my packages, because I can only fit 1 extra large box in my car, in my front seat. The other ones I can only fit large or mediums. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I would.
if it's a physically getting the boxes to drop off location, you could do that. But FedEx, it was nice. It was free. I love FedEx, man. They were awesome.
Yeah, I got a question. If say you're doing online arbitrage, instead of paying double shipping to have the stuff shipped to me to send it in the excuse me, Amazon, is there a way, like, say I bought some product, I verified it's good, this is what I want to sell, blah blah blah, send some into Amazon, it did well, is there a way to order it and have it sent directly to Amazon?
I'm not 100% sure unless you got something through the manufacturer or the store. Because as far as I understand, I've never done it, but there's a way you can. But I think that you see, when you print the label for Amazon, there's a FedEx or UPS label, and then on the other side is basically like a barcode that they scan that tells you the contents of your box.
Okay.
So unless you're going to send maybe Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that. I haven't done that. That's something I'd actually like to try and do as well, if there's a way to do it. But I think the only way you could do that would be if you had like a wholesale provider or something like that, where they would do that for you, or
Put your
or you
FFP
can give
labels
them.
on.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that you can just send in and as is, because they can use the manufacturer label on the product, but some things you have to especially have your label on. So
But
there's
if you use the manufacturer's UPC, that's going to get you into a commingle situation, guaranteed.
right, yeah, I don't do that. I label everything.
And commingles just means all those kind of items, yours and everybody else's, goes into a box in the
Right.
warehouse. And as they fill orders, they just reach in and grab one. They don't care whose it is.
Right. And
so
then,
you could have somebody else that's on that item that's sent in 50 of them. They're in bad shape, and they said they were new, and they could fulfill your order, pull out that one that's in bad shape, and you would get a ding.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't do that. But I mean, you could. You can also have, if there's products, say that you ran out of poly bags or you don't have enough labels for some reason, like you're having this massive shipment, you ran out. You can actually have Amazon do those things for you as well, with the packaging of the items and the labeling of it. But there's a fee of, I think, like 20 cents or something like that per item.
Yeah, that's what I read.
That's pretty costly compared to what the cost of the the
And I think
bags and stuff
on
are.
that situation, I think you can do that product by product inside your shipment, can't you?
Right.
So
So
like
if
you said,
I have
if you run out, then you can say, hey, I've got 15 more of this item. Let me just let them do those 15.
right,
It's
like
not the whole shipment.
yeah, you would have to physically have one product all have that done to it or whatever. But you can have that done as well. So there is some, there's a lot of different things that they offer, they do, but everything's going to cost you a little bit more money. Like they have product placement. So if you're doing a smaller shipment and you just want one box, there's a fee for that. I haven't done that. I get pretty lucky on most of mine because I don't go very, very deep. So that most of my stuff usually goes to one warehouse that's in my state. So it saves me on shipping as well. And this last time I had 3 warehouses, but I had an oversized shipment. If you have an item that's considered oversized, it has to go by itself with other oversized items, and that goes to a completely different warehouse than what you're used to. So that's the only downside if you get anything like, it's a little bit bigger toy or appliance or some, electronic or anything like that. It has to be sent totally separate your other stuff. So just something to keep in mind.
And at what point do you have to provide Amazon with this commercial liability insurance?
When I first started, you didn't have to, but now you have to, from what I hear, right away.
Is it something they request that you have to send in, or is it if they ask for it, you have to provide it? I don't know.
From what I was, from what I was hearing, like if you don't have that, if they ask for it, they could basically shut you down until you do. From what I heard, but it's always better to be protected.
Right.
And it's another cost that we don't want to have to pay for, but it protects you on all your business ventures, even your eBay stuff. Well, I don't know if it should cover your eBay stuff too, because it should be your business wide, uh, and Amazon, because they have to be specifically uh, stated in that insurance policy.
Right. I think you just have to have it available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
at any point they can ask for it and they can shut you down if you don't have
it.
Provide proof.
Yeah, they yeah, I mean, it's best to always protect yourself in business, and and keep your business separated from your personal. People can come after you or whatever for getting lawsuits and stuff like that. So that's just one way to protect you.
It's not that I'm going to try and get legal, but especially with an LLC, if you're an LLC and you mix your business and pleasure, for the lack of a better, business and personal, then that breaks that LLC veil, and they can then attack your personal assets if it gets into a lawsuit situation.
Scott says the rule is day one. but they have never asked them for it in 5 years.
Right.
Okay.
I think the situation, you just got to have it, and they can ask for it at any time.
Right.
You don't submit it to them when you start.
Right. You don't need to. The only thing that you need to submit when you start is a credit card, a driver's license, and they have to give them your banking information.
DC sales, no, I think it's across the board. DC sales was asking, is the insurance for FBA only? Theoretically, you should have that kind of insurance for any online sales because you could potentially get sued for an item that you sold.
Now, from what I understood, now this was probably over a year ago I heard this, so it may have changed. But if you're doing the professional account, you're supposed to have the insurance. If you're doing the regular account where you like pay per item, it's not required. Does anybody know if that's?
I don't know. I don't know. I've had a professional since day one. I don't know, to be honest. I'm gonna guess you probably still need it regardless, probably.
I mean, I would think it'd be smart to protect your business, one way or the other. I wouldn't want Amazon telling me when I need to protect my business.
Right. No, it's not the fact, but not everybody can just, go and drop that amount of money into an insurance policy right off the bat,
Yeah,
right. I understand.
If you think about it, like with all the different things that you can get with Amazon, it could get pricey from the start. If you got the insurance, I wouldn't recommend going professional right off the bat unless you send in like a bunch of stuff right off the bat, because you're probably not gonna sell 40 items in that month or whatever, unless you're sending in whole, to say like, usually my shipments I send in like 160 items at a clip. So, if you're sending something like that, you might want to get it off the bat. So you have that, you have the insurance. If you want to go with the repricer, which I don't recommend right away, but something that you probably need soon. There's Keepa. I mean, this is stuff that I recommend, getting. That's stuff that I use. Keepa's, I think, $17 a month. That's where you get all your data, from rankings to price history to from on every product that Amazon sells. And if you're selling stuff like right now, like if you had something seasonal, you can grab it, or you have it at your house, or you bought it and you have it in your eBay inventory, and you're like, well, I wonder if this sells, and it might have a crazy high ranking. If you look back in October, November, December, it could be 10,000 ranking, which would be fantastic. So that's a great tool, and to be able to look up that sales data.
I believe that there is. Rebecca's saying if you don't pay the $40, is there a listing limitation? I think it's like under 40. 40 is the cap. Is that right, Nate?
I think from what I've heard, if you don't get the professional account, you pay $1 per listing, no matter how many you sell, and I think you have a little tougher time getting ungated in categories right off the bat as you normally would if you went straight professional. Now, I don't know if that's a huge difference or if that's false, but that's what I've heard.
I think it impacts your amount of storage, linear storage that you get if you have the professional as well. I believe when it comes to FBA.
Yeah, I have unlimited storage. I'm pretty, like I said, I've never had anything but professional, so I'm not 100% sure about that. But I believe you're right about that. I think you're limited on your storage, and also
storage is based on linear feet if you send stuff into FBA.
Right, and also from what. Go ahead. No, go ahead. So, and also from what I heard, I think unless you go with FBA, I think you have a little harder time getting the buy box as well.
Well, just like we always talk about eBay always wanting to promote people that are doing things right, doing promoted listings, for example, doing all the things eBay wants you to do. I think Amazon does pretty much the same thing,
Right.
The buy box, as well as the what was I going to say? The golly, my mind's just gone crazy lately. Professional seller. Gosh. Oh, being ungated, like you said earlier. I think that is one of the very first things they consider when you put in an ungating request is, are you a professional seller? Yeah. It's not the only thing, but it definitely helps with getting ungated and other items.
Right.
Sure. Back road picker. I'm just going to go ahead and I would love to have Scott on if he'd ever be willing to come on. He's more than willing. But 3 out of the 4 of us, well, I mean, Craig does a little bit of Amazon, but 3 out of the 4 of us are primarily eBay sellers. So just as the title says, we're willing to learn. We're trying to expand our business into doing a little bit more Amazon. So this isn't really like a expert Amazon panel. This is we're trying to learn, and we're just kind of sharing the process type panel today.
Right. I don't want to speak on things that I don't know because I haven't experienced it because I had the professional account. So I don't want to get anybody, tell people, I'll get the free account, and then next you know they're having issues or problems or whatever. So I'm just trying to make sure that people have some information, and I might be wrong or I might be right, but I mean that's from what I've understood from other people.
But in the end, on anything you hear on YouTube, you need to do your due diligence and check with the source of whatever platform you're working with.
Right.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Truthfully, I don't know if I'd take anybody's word on YouTube as the golden standard. And I hate to be that way, but you can get good information, but in the end, you need to do your due diligence and find out what is actually the case.
Right. Yeah, I'm buying no stretch of imagination. I ever say that I'm a guru, I know everything, but I'm just trying to help people, gain some financial freedom. That's all, and help out the community. That's all I'm here to try to do.
And Scott, if you want to come take us to school, man, I'll be willing to drop a link in the chat for you. Just let me know.
To come back to touch on this insurance, because I'm just trying to get an idea, because I want to have everything in place and proper. That's why I haven't actually dove into it yet. But now that's like the last step for me for Amazon would be getting that insurance. Is there any, I know a lot of people don't like to share their numbers, but is there anybody that would like to give me an idea about what this insurance runs for a year?
I think I heard somebody say around $600 a year, give or take.
That ain't so bad.
And if I'm wrong there, please somebody call me. I don't know. That's what's sticking in my mind that I heard from somebody. And I don't know if it's based on the number of sales you have, and when you get those kind of policies, you can't just get a general liability policy. You have to get one that is e-commerce specific, and I believe they have to name Amazon in it for it to be accepted. And if Scott's in the chat, if you know any better, please speak up.
What was your question, Jamie? Feel free to go ahead.
That's what I was just gonna.
I just dropped a link for you, Scott. Feel free to jump in, man.
So we jumped off into Amazon pretty quickly, didn't we?
I was hearing Amazon as I was coming in, so I was ready for it.
That's cool. What's up, man?
Hey.
So y'all are lucky I just finished talking about Amazon for 2 hours. Yeah, Tommy, they told you right. It's $50 to $60 a month, so about $600 a year. The way I set it up was exactly the way Nate was saying. I covered everything. It covers eBay, Amazon. It covers the whole business. Because just because you don't have it on eBay doesn't mean that the Sue Happy Society decides that some widget you sold them was defective or calls them, and now you're part of the sales. You'll be named in the lawsuit. So it's $1 million rider. It's not very expensive.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And they do like general liability? Or do you have to have one that has got e-commerce riders or whatever as part of it?
Man, it's strictly e-commerce, and it took. I got this in 2015. I still got the same policy. Back then. It was harder to find. It's easier to find now. Most any insurance companies can, they'll go and send you somewhere else. But I got mine through Wells Fargo, the bank that I use. They sent me the I forget who it is. I just make the payment.
Right.
But they've never asked for it. But it does give you a sense of of relief because look how many items are recalled I sell across the board. If there's money in it, I'll sell it. And you start selling lotions and stuff that somebody might say broke them out or something. I mean, you really think about your liability and your exposure. It gets kind of scary. I mean, nobody wants to talk about it, but it gets kind of scary to think about especially if you're a sole proprietor, you're playing Russian roulette because I don't be fear and doom, but as a sole proprietor, they can come take everything you own. LLC, if you do it right, gives you some liability. I'm now an S corp, so I'm even shielded more. But you guys are working. Everybody's working out of their homes. Nobody wants to think about the fact that because you're working out of your home, you're exposing everything you own.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, anything you have in your name, it would be under, could be taken away from you in a snap of a finger in a lawsuit or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And talking about getting sued or lawsuits, people aren't going to sue you for $3. They're going to go to break you pretty much.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Just having that frame of mind that I'd be protected.
But with Amazon, that's one of the Nate was hitting it right on. You need driver's license. You need a credit card. Sometimes you can get away with a debit, but not very often. They're going to ask you for information for taxes, if EIN or social security number, and it's up to you to get the insurance because they're not going to ask you for it. And once they verify all your information, they do a lot more verifications now than they used to. Used to they took you at your word, but now with all the Chinese coming in with all these fake accounts, they take a little more time to make sure every document lines up, every address lines up. But
yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to get my account up because I was having issues with my license for some reason. So I had to start all the way over and use a different email or whatever the case is, and then I was okay. It was really weird.
Bad Dog, we don't make the products, but you're involved in the sales process now. So you are the person representing the product. So you're even though you're just named in a lawsuit, and most of the time you'll get, they're not after you. They're going to name all parties until they, you see that a lot where lawsuits are, you'll see they're suing this, and this. And you're like, why are they suing everybody? Because there is some liability there.
Yep.
So I guess as a seller, you're like endorsing the product. So.
Yeah. And DC Sales is asking, do you need separate policies for each platform? I'm pretty sure one policy does cover everything.
One will cover it. They do like an interview process where they ask you where do you sell, and then what types of items you sell. And I think based on what you tell them you sell, the price goes up or down because certain products, anything that's ingestible. So if you tell them you sell foods or you sell supplements or that kind of stuff, or if you tell them you import from China, there are certain things that cause your price to go up because your liability goes up with it. Right. And so, if it's used electronics, if it's, run of the mill stuff you find at yard sales and stuff, generally there's not a lot there. So the cost is very reasonable. But you just think about the stuff that could, we take a lot of supplements and stuff that a lot of people do. You don't know what's in that stuff.
Yeah. DC Sales says grocery stores get sued for bad food all the time.
Yeah.
And they're not making the food. They're not making the produce. Yeah,
I used to work at a corporate office for a big grocery chain here in Pennsylvania and Ohio called Giant Eagle. And there'd be some massive stuff going down every time. Like, for example, like a lettuce recall because of some kind of bad strand of virus or whatever was attached to it. So there's a lot of liability that goes into that kind of stuff.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't sell on these platforms. I make a good living. I enjoy selling. It's my passion. But, do your due diligence, set yourself up right, protect yourself. Don't do all this hard work to have somebody take it because you had an exposure that you could have covered with $50 a month.
Right.
So you're smart, Tommy, to get it right before you start. Because people think the easy part is finding stuff, but knowing the rules, 100% knowing the rules of what the poly bag. One of the ones y'all didn't mention was any items that are intended for kids under 18 months old must be poly bag. So any of the toys and stuff that are for under 18, you look at it and go, well, I wouldn't poly bag that. If it's under 18, it's got to be polybagged. There's rules that are out there that you just can't imagine how many there are.
Does Inventory Lab or Amazon tell you that if you scan that item, try and send it in? I've never had anything in that situation. That's why
Amazon shows you on the app, and then Inventory Lab through their API pulling from their app shows you as you list. It'll tell you prep requirements on every item. So
yeah.
Sometimes I polybag stuff just because just a precautionary thing, like for condition and stuff.
See, some of the stuff that I do because I was suspended once in 2016 for items that they claimed as used to get free shipping back. But I started protecting one of them was a Funko that Amazon decided they were going to send out in a bubble mailer, and I took the hit for it being used. And Amazon on their thing wants to know, what are you going to do to make sure that the customer doesn't see this as used again? How am I going to stop Amazon from destroying my Funko? So I send every Funko POP in a protector now. I polybag books if the books are worth more than $20, I polybag them. Just so that they don't get scratched up. They don't. The condition is what There's certain things on Amazon you go above their standard to protect yourself. A little bit of diligence and stuff on your. If I'm sending in used VCRs, I box them up and put a sticker on there that says ready to ship. So they don't have to undo them or anything. Or I know a lot of people really bubble wrap them really, really good. You've got to do that kind of stuff so that protect yourself.
Well, look at the way your items are packaged when you get your returns back.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a returns video tonight. There's stuff in there that's in it. You shake it, it's in bubble mailers. You go, holy crap! There's no telling what this is.
Right. Put one item in a 18 by 18 box. It's a 6-inch item with no filler.
Yeah, I love opening returns. They're fun videos because.
But if they're going to do it in a return, they're potentially going to do it in something they're shipping to your customer.
That's what they're going to send to because the person pulling it, based on the size, the computer tells them what box. They don't pick the box. So if the box says this cap goes in an 18 by 18 by 6, that's what it's going in. No matter what it is, because they're going to do it because they're judged on their performance based on following their.
Did you do what you were told to do?
When you get your returns in, do you then put them on eBay, or how do you normally process them?
Depends on what the condition is. If it's a sellable item, I'll sell it on eBay. Every now there's a lot of stuff that comes back. You'll be amazed that says it was defective because they're trying to get free shipping. They never opened it, and so it just gets sent back in, and they never opened it. But I put in the chat. One of my favorite ones is they get defective books back. Those are great.
Right.
It took me 3 months to determine it was defective.
Yeah, I got one of those before. I was like, seriously? I was like, how is this possible? You know what I mean? Like,
and then everything else, if the value is not there on eBay, or if it's not if it's missing a part or not sellable, I'll either trash it, or if there's still some value to it, I'll donate it to. There's a thrift store down a couple miles away that on the way out that I'll drop it off once I fill up a box. Wow. But there's no reason to be. I was talking this morning. You just once you cover the bases like Tommy's talking about, there's stuff that you don't skip. But once you get there, you just got to start. If you ever wait till everything is perfect, you'll never get there. People. When do you start a YouTube channel? Do you wait till you've got every camera, everything? You still don't know what you're doing. There's still everyone on this panel will tell you there's still mistakes we all make every single video.
Absolutely.
And it's got nothing to do with the camera.
right.
I watch people that use phones. You've got a phone, you're good.
I watched the Goon Squad. That's got 1 million, 2 million subscribers to get 1 million views on every video, and they film all of them with an iPhone.
Yep. I do the majority of mine right now with an iPhone because I've had such problems with the GoPros I've bought. I just ordered a Hero 7 finally, but for the most part, I've just been using the iPhone. I think it was either a 7 or an 8, and it works fine.
Yeah, once an iPhone hits, I think a 7, the camera gets so good, and same thing with the Galaxy. About that point, the cameras are so freaking good that Yeah, there's a guy I watch. He 2 or 3 videos a week. He just upgraded from a Galaxy 7 to a 10, and he's got 50,000 subs. He supports his life on YouTube with a phone.
That's the only thing I regret about YouTube is not starting sooner. I met Scott, probably 2.5 years ago, maybe, give or take. And was active in chats, but didn't ever do any videos or didn't have a channel,
Yeah, everybody's got those first videos that are terrible. You just gotta make them. You don't learn until you try. And the important thing I tell people on YouTube is your personality. People are gonna like you for who you are. It's like real life. They're gonna like you or not like you. There's not a lot you can do about it other than be yourself, and then provide good content. You provide value in your content. Those are the 2 things. They're not watching you because, look, he films in 4K. I'm gonna watch him.
I want to see those nose hairs.
Unless you're a tech channel and you're reviewing the 4K camera and they want to, I watch Unbox Therapy. It's a big channel, and every camera he tests, he tests on his beard hair. How fine can he see the beard hair?
That's awesome.
It's everybody has a point of view. Everybody, you can learn from everybody because everybody's experience is so different. So if you've got it, if you've got an inkling to do YouTube, it's not perfect, but it's a lot. I find it a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people.
But talking about learning from anybody, it may not even be how smart they are, how big their channel is. Somebody could present the same information. 2 different people present the same information, and you just happen to grab it a little bit differently because one different way is presented by somebody else.
Yeah, the one thing people have to get over when you start watching YouTube is the quality of the content and the provider is independent of the number of subs they have.
Right.
The number of subs means nothing about that just means a lot of people watch them. It doesn't mean they know any more or any less.
Right.
They may be more entertaining. They may be more something, this or that, but it doesn't mean their quality of content or the quality of the person's any better or worse.
And that works on both sides of the spectrum, But
no, absolutely.
But it's hard to get over that though, because that's where the problem is. That's where YouTube pushes you.
Fishing
as a viewer.
Yeah, that is Camperman Kevin. I love Camperman Kevin. He's a Georgia boy who he's got 3 Yorkies. They live in a camper out west.
Wow. Never heard of it. But I've watched 1 or 2 of those van life or whatever type channels. They're pretty cool. I'm gonna run up on that one.
Yeah, that would be an awesome, way to kind of spend your twilight years. I know Tommy has talked about that, and it's really got me thinking about it too. Eventually one day, kind of selling off the physical portion of the business and hitting the road in an RV and just doing an FBA. That would be awesome.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, I've been all over the U.S. I used to drive truck. I've seen and been everywhere, but Destiny really hasn't. And she's always like looking at stuff online or whatever. She's like, "Oh, I want to move there. Oh, I want to move there." But in reality, she can't really decide because she's never experienced it in person. She don't know what the surroundings are around that picture. And the reason I would like to gear more into FBA is because we can travel and do that on the road.
Yeah.
Versus you can't do that with eBay. You got to babysit your inventory,
You mean you can actually travel and sell it from the road? I never would have guessed.
Yeah, your channel's really opened my eyes to that kind of stuff, Scott. Like seeing you in the hotel room with boxes and dymos and getting everything ready to.
You really don't have to buy that. I buy a ton, but you could really support our life. But you're in a van. My brother's building out a Sprinter that he just bought, and he's building into a camper. He's building into a camper and work van so that he can do it from the road and stay out for months or 2 at a time.
That's all.
That's gonna, and he'll finally start making more videos when he gets to that point. But it's amazing how little you could source a couple days a week and then spend the next 5 exploring an area. You could come into an area, source it for 2 days, and then spend the rest of the week learning about it and experiencing. She actually told me if you get rid of the van and the other trailer over here, I'll really consider letting you have a motorhome. I'm like,
That's what I tell people. People always talk about their dreams homes, these big houses and whatever. My dream home has wheels.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I found the same thing you have, Tommy. I've been in 42 states over the last 5 years doing this stuff. I've never been a lot of anywhere, and man, this country is beautiful, and it's so completely different everywhere you go. People are great. I've really enjoyed seeing. It's a lot of places are very different, but then you see a lot of similarities with the town squares and everything all through the country. It's been a fascinating travel so far.
Imagine me and Ash love traveling. It's like our favorite thing to do together. So if I could provide a living doing that one day, I think that'd be like the ultimate goal.
No.
But FBA does provide that. But you can, I challenge you also, eBay on that as well, because if you just change what you buy, sell smalls on eBay. Small electronics you can pick up, small cameras, micro cassette recorders, lots of that little stuff, jewelry, stuff that doesn't take up a lot of room. And then the shipping stuff is also very small, a bunch of 4x6 boxes that take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
So you truly can, you can have both worlds, dedicate this much amount to storage and that's what you got. And because the FBA goes in.
Right. And we've talked about that too. We're like, a motorhome with a little, 5x8 trailer behind it to haul around eBay inventory,
Or either that, if you go just a touch bigger, or you got one of those with a big pass through and go, this pass through is eBay, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, something like, well, not as big as John. Hell, John's got that 43.5-foot monster. But he pulls a little car behind, so that could be the other option too, is, a mobile home base where, you can source and do whatever in a small car, and then he's got a lot of storage underneath to do eBay. And the sky's the limit. Design your own business, design your own life, design your own retirement. It's all about what you want.
Yeah.
I wish I can just drop everything I'm doing right now and do that right now and just go drive around and
Just do it.
I would do it in a snap.
Then do it.
I would. I don't have the money right now.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean, I would need definitely more capital to do that. I would also need a SUV or a van or something as well. I'm not going to get too far in my little 4-door vehicle car, Putting 3 kids in the back,
Family of 5 in there.
Yeah, I would go to 1-2 stores and be like, "Oh, we're done."
But you know what, Nate? The one thing I would tell you is we are at the infancy of this online. Online's just going to get bigger and bigger, and retail and all this stuff. eBay's probably going to struggle until they'll at some point. I have faith that they'll figure out how to reach the generations behind us. Nate, your generation is, you guys are rare. That you ask most people your age, and they'll go, "What the hell is eBay?" They don't really. But I have. At some point, they're going to figure that out. They'll get the right person. They'll figure all that out. But right. eBay and Amazon, I see quite a while into the future. So now's the time you start planning. How do I get to where, if that's what you want to do, and you've got 3 kids, when's the last one out of the house? That's when you set a goal and start working towards that goal.
I got a lot of time. I got 17 years.
Yeah, we're in our last year, so.
Yeah, I got a lot of time yet, so.
And really,
I guess I'll be really set.
He's a senior in college, living at home, but we can do whatever. It's not like I see
at this point.
I go a day or two and not even see him. I'm like, is your son still alive back there?
Yeah, we got about 5 years before I'd feel comfortable leaving the kids at home for any amount of time. But I figure 5 years is enough time to get things in place to do what I want to do,
For sure.
I should be well ahead of the game within 5 years. So I'm not. I should probably find something else to do.
That's what a lot of my thoughts here lately have been just, telling people that they need to eliminate the excuses. A barrier now is just a reason to make a plan to get where you want to go. It shouldn't stop you. It shouldn't hold you back. You're the only thing holding you back is you. All this stuff's out there. It's available. You can learn it. You can do it. You've got to quit giving yourself excuses. You got to quit accepting mediocrity, and you've got to give yourself credit and go for it. And it took me a long time to get here. This is you see Bearded Picker. Before there was a Bearded Picker, I worked in restaurants for 25 years. A slave to a paycheck, and Always wonder, how the hell do I get out of this? And it took me a long time to figure it out. So I understand the struggle. But you get to midlife, you start thinking different. You just start when the clock you can hear the clock ticking. And you go, I get one shot at this deal.
Yeah.
I want to finally get to where it's on my terms, not somebody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Like when my kids are young, I can, do so much with them right now, and in the years to come. And I don't want to be, like for example, yesterday I worked from 1 p.m. to I didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning. Like how much time do I have with my family? Because of just work. Now yesterday was a longer than average day, but there's days that it's going to be like that, and I don't want to, basically eat, sleep, go to work, come home, go, and do that type of cycle.
It's
And I
tough.
also do the business side too, and I'm trying to squeeze in YouTube, and
Yeah.
I want to just be able to really experience life with my family and my kids, and do something I love. I love making money. I love hustling. I love finding good finds and yard sales and FBA. And I mean, honestly, if I could do that right now, if I hit the lottery, I would be gone.
Yeah, the freedom is what I love the most. Like yesterday I got up, I worked on all that junk that's right there. I'm trying to get an Amazon shipment in, and I got a pallet of ASD stuff, and so I crammed it in here, and I'd been messaging Alabama Picker, and he's like, "Man, what you doing in an hour?" I'm like, "I don't know, nothing." He said, "Meet me at the Brass Tap. It's a restaurant in Bavaria," and we sat for like 4 hours, drinking beers and talking about life and reselling. You can't do that working 9 to 5. You can't spend time with people, friends, and then edit a video last night when I got home because it's my schedule. I do it, have dinner with the family, and the freedom. I can't stress enough. The freedom in this job is amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But
Yeah.
all the rules, you can learn all that stuff. You just got to, especially eBay. eBay is so forgiving. If you do something wrong, just go for it. And I don't care what these Amazon sellers like me will tell you. Just because I make all my money on Amazon, I love eBay. That's where the passion is. I love finding the gem. I love hunting. Tomorrow, I'm spending all day on the Alabama 101 yard sale. It's 100 miles with Harlan and his brother because that's what we want to do. They both have full-time jobs. They both have great jobs. And I do Amazon. I do fine. And we're all playing eBay and yard sales because that's what we love to do. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Anthony. Like, if he would start Amazon, he's not going to lose out on that passion for eBay. He just has to save some time, out of his day, or put a day aside maybe to source and
I would tell you he's right, Anthony. You'll understand that there's a different thrill. It's a different like I've got 159 items right here, all one item.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're just regular run of the mill discontinued items.
Yeah.
And I pay $375. I make 15 on them. They're going to sell in a month.
Mm-hmm.
But I made it to 3 stores and found 400.
Wow.
It's a different chase. How many do you find? How much money? And then knowing that the 3 days of work that I put into this, I'm done.
Yeah.
I won't see these again. The pallet that came in yesterday, it'll take me a couple of weeks to kind of work through that and send it all in. But all that upfront work, it really affords the freedom is amazing. You'd be so amazed at the freedom of just being able to. That's why tomorrow is whatever. I'll have Amazon will sell, they'll deliver, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really am. Just as a second arm of income and just a second arm of the business, really. Because I think anybody who's a picker, just like you said, loves looking for those gems, like those diamonds in the rough, where you can go to a yard sale and find something that's like super valuable, or a thrift store, or wherever you go to pick. But yeah, just having that steady, income that you're talking about, where you just send it all in, you do the work up front, and then it just kind of pays you back for it. Whereas eBay, a lot of it, like, you kind of do the work, you get it all listed, and then it's kind of just like, to me, it seems kind of like a mutual fund that just needs to age. You know what I mean? And eventually you make your money back from the item.
The one interesting thing you'll find with Amazon is if you stay within the top 3 or 4% in the categories, you'll be amazed how fast it sells. You just can't imagine until you've experienced FBA. Just, and then once you get into it and you put a repricer on it, I tell people, if you compare eBay to Amazon, one is like a candle and the other one's a raging inferno. It just, the way the sales just, and neither one of them's better. They're different. They're, they both can provide whatever you want them to provide, but give yourself the opportunity to make your life easier. If you want that steady, you don't want the ups and downs. You just want a constant. Spend one day a week going, hey, I'm gonna buy whatever.
Yeah.
It does. I still have a passion for eBay. I love finding. I've been on eBay since 2000. I love eBay, but I also know that I can make a lot of money in the times for time spent, so that I can continue doing what I want to do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, especially with the candle and the inferno. Like, for example, me and Nate were having lunch at, I think it was Denny's, and he was kind of walking me through what he does on Amazon, and he was basically showing me, like, in one day he had the amount of sales I had in 1 month on eBay with his Amazon.
Yeah, in the last 30 days, I've sold 1,392 items on Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane, guys. I mean, it is.
You can't ship that many? How can you ship that many?
Right.
Right.
Like if I had to sit down here and do that after work, ship out 20, 30 packages or whatever. I mean, it's worth a little extra fee or whatever. It's worth all that. You know what I mean? Especially if you have something that you're already doing and you just want to add this to it. If you have a job or if you have something already in place, it's a great additional income.
And I haven't even started selling one of the items. I found an item, and actually I didn't find it. I had a friend found it. He couldn't sell them, and he's like, "Dude, get up here and buy this stuff. They're $4. You can get 28 for them. They've got 550. There's only 3 sellers, and it's Christmas lights." So I'm waiting to be the last one in. I'm holding out at $29. That video is going to come out shortly because you can't. These lights are 4 years old. They were in the upstairs storage of a closing store.
Oh, wow.
Under a tarp, they were supposed to have been sent back. So I mean, there's a lot of the treasure hunt that you can build in. Because I do discounted items, that builds some of the treasure hunt. It makes Amazon a little more fun if if I'm just going to do replenishables at Walmart and I'm sending in, whatever, equate eye drops or whatever. That's terrible. That's boring. But if I'm trying to go to these stores, Walgreens or CVS or whatever, and I'm figuring out what's going out and what's going to be the hardest thing to find, you can build the treasure hunt to Amazon. It makes Amazon a lot more interesting than just the last couple of days have been hell peeling stickers. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, it's terrible.
400 items I've had to pull stickers off of plastic has been no fun.
Yeah,
but it's
how often, because I've seen it here a couple of times, how often do you pay, or how long does your items sit in Amazon before they charge you a storage fee?
30 days.
30.
So that'll be so if it goes in this month, if it goes in from now, anytime October, the storage will be the first of December. So you got the grace period of that month, and you got 30 days for it to sit. So, but it's reasonable, especially if you're selling standard. I did the math one time when I first got started, and I couldn't rent a storage building. My storage fees are generally $50 to $70 a month. I can't rent a storage building hardly for that would hold all that and I've got a crazy number. Let's see how many active inventory items I have. It's it gets crazy. Currently have 726 different products.
Wow. I'm sure you probably have like hundreds of quantity in some of them.
Well, that one I've got 550 of in.
Wow.
And and I've already sent in the first half of these.
Mhm.
So 300 of those have checked in. So in 3 products, I've got 800 items.
Wow.
So when you have a large quantity of something, you don't send it all in at once. You send it in as it sells to kind of help beat the storage fees. Is that what you're doing?
Hell no, I send it all in to be done with it. I'll pay a little bit of storage fees because your time when you're processing through. I don't know how your mind works, but mine is I need to be done with something because I'll never get back to it. So if I want to leave part of it, it'll be somewhere over in the corner, and I'll find it and go, well, I'll be damned. I still got some of those.
I do that all the time. I don't forget I buy stuff.
Bad Dog storage fees are based on the size of the item, and they are monthly, and they also have a long term that's a yearly fee. So if an item doesn't sell in a year, and they do a good job telling you about that on your dashboard, there'll be a little thing telling you, which items are not selling through. You need to check these because they're excess, and what your upcoming fees are. It's somebody's asking who has somebody a body locked in the basement for all the screaming.
That's my kids playing.
Margo
I got
loves
three little ones.
Margo loves me. Roll Tide, Margo.
So, question for you, Scott. With you being an experienced Amazon seller, I know a lot of times when you go to comp items and you're looking to find certain items at the store, there's a certain product rating of, and I'm pretty sure with Amazon, it's like the higher the number, the better it is. Is there a certain number when you're scanning stuff that you go, okay, if it's over this number, I'm going to buy it?
I generally stay in their ranking percentage. I generally stay in the top 10%, and that helps with the fees and everything too. Because if you're buying items in the top 10, and you can limit that down. If you really, I started out doing top 5, but the one thing with Amazon is as you keep rolling dollars over, you got to be able to spend this in money that you keep building for them. Where do you spend it all? And so I expanded to the top 10 so I could have easier to. And so you just count on the fact that some items will sell, some items will sit, and they all go through. So there'll be a lot of items you have no storage, and there's some that have some storage. But as long as you stay in, if you pick a percentage, I recommend most newer people 5% or less. It's a little more picky to find items, but you'll be amazed. Like clothing. If you're going to sell clothing on Amazon, there's 161 million items in clothing right now.
Wow.
So the top 10% in clothing is a 16 million rank.
Wow.
I don't touch the 16 million rank in clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I try in clothing. I try to stay in the top 3, which is under 5 million. Most people will look at 5 million in clothing and go, "Oh my God, that's never going to sell." They don't understand the size of the category.
Right. Yeah. Every category is different sizes. Like
every category has a different velocity. Certain luggage is not going to sell as fast as toys. Luggage is much smaller. It's one of the smaller categories on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Grocery is also smaller, even though a lot of people sell grocery and replenishables through groceries. Grocery is only, I think, 3 million items. It's not very big. But that's what I use Scoutify through Inventory Lab. And if you click, let me scan my Diet Coke bottle. Oh, damn. I'm going to scan this game. I have been logged out. All right, that's why we have 2 of these. It tells you the. It probably logged me out of here too. Nope. It tells you what the rank is, like that caffeine that my caffeine pills. I use that on the road. Their rank is 1,300. It'll show you. I don't know if you can see it or not. It shows you 1,300 out of 3 million. And on this one, you can click it back. If you touch it, it changes it to what percentage it is. So it tells you that's the top 1%.
Great.
So that's how I know very quickly in a store when I'm scanning items. Is that any? First, is there any profit in it? And then I want to know, what rank it is, but more important, what percentage is, because that really tells you how fast it'll turn.
That's helpful to know. I didn't realize you could
That's
turn
which
it
end?
into a percentage.
Yeah, that's Scoutify 2. That comes free from Inventory Lab. They're It's $50 a month, but it's a full inventory suite. I send all my. Nate, do you use Inventory Lab?
No, I don't use it.
All my shipments go through it. The thing that really I like about it is to send to my accountant. I have a P&L. I just send in the cost of goods off of it, all the reports to go through it. And when I'm doing a shipment, if I've got like 10 items, when I scan the first one in, it prints the label out for it. So I stick the label on it and put it in the box. I don't touch it again. Whereas the other way, at the end, Amazon will kick out all 10 labels. Then you got to find them all. Then you got to put them all in the boxes. So Inventory Lab saves me a ton of time.
Yeah, I was trying to implement something like that without using Inventory Lab, and then it's way harder to do. Yeah, so I have to use the 30 up stickers in my old bulky printer and print them out. So that's something. Once I get a little bit bigger, like, I'm trying to minimize what I spend per month. But yeah, so once I get a little bit bigger, maybe get some wholesale and stuff like that in, and where I can offset a little bit of that cost or whatever, where I can, I'm making good money now, but I just don't. I'm a cheap guy. I don't want to have to spend another $50. So right now, I just choose not to do it. But I mean, if people are going, they're doing like what you're doing and going, doing amazing, it's well worth having it. It simplifies everything. Like he said, you only got to touch the product once instead of, okay, now you got to figure out how many you have, and then, okay, you add it in, and then you got to sticker it, and then put it in the box. You know what I mean? Now he just sticker, put in the box. Every one he touches.
Yeah, and it really worked well if you're in a hotel room and you've already spread it all out all over the hotel. To go ahead and be boxing it up while you're going, really, it's really effective when you're traveling like that. But I've used it since I started with Inventory Lab. There's a guy named Ryan Grant. He still writes a blog. He does an email now, but he had quit his corporate job. He was an accountant, and I didn't know YouTube existed or anything, so I started reading his blog. And I have an accounting background. I'm like, this makes sense. And if he suggested Inventory Lab, I went with it right to start, and that was 2014. Oh, you got a visitor.
I see that Scott's saying here in the chat that there's a pretty good inventory system for $30, Nate, that allows you to print your FBA labels on a Dymo.
Yeah, that's what I was asking which one he uses, because there was one I think it was like $10 a month or something like that. Like I said, I'm trying to get away from I don't mind paying like $50 one time, and I'm trying to minimize my subscriptions. Yeah. At the end of the month, you don't think about, you add it all up and you're like, geez, I'm paying this much every month. You know what I mean? So that's why.
Somebody asked how much do I spend on apps and everything. It's like $600 a month.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it could get really pricey, especially depending on what repricer you use and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have one that's $250 by itself, where they monitor the account and deal with all feedback, deal with all inventory issues, and they do quite a few other things too. But that's the big one.
Ken, do you mean with content, like as far as like what we do on YouTube, like maybe doing it on Facebook as well? Tommy and I have talked about it a little bit as far as expanding this show into different platforms, but we haven't really set anything into motion yet until we get down to like one channel.
Yeah, I'm too old to figure all that stuff out. I just do what I do. It's the add-ons. Somebody said they can be intimidating. The ones that I use a repricer, which is RR, which I'm talking about. I got tonight on my live channel, Dylan Carter. I use AZ Labels, which is another $20, which formats all your Amazon shipments. Instead of having to take a snapshot and print each label, on the Dymo is how you have to get them through it. You just click a button and it formats them all, and the time that saves is like yesterday. I had 14 boxes to deal with. You hit one box and it prints out all 28 labels. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that.
Let's see. There's Inventory Lab. I'm trying to think what else do I pay for. I've cut a bunch of them out. I don't use BrickSync anymore. I've cut quite a few of them out just because they're. I got to the same point Nate was. I'm like, man, I ain't spending a lot of money on stuff that. Do I really use them? You know, some of these are good, but you know, with my experience, I can make the decision some of these programs are making for me. It just takes a little time. Sometimes, let's see, what else do I spend money on? Pandora, because I listen to music in the van.
I mean, you add all that up, man, like that, and plus, you know, your monthly Amazon fees and you know, you're just shipping your stuff into Amazon. I mean, that, you know, it can eat up a lot of your profits or a good portion. I mean, for you, it's not that much because, you know, you're sending so much in. But, you know, for someone like me, if I did what you're doing, you know, it would eat a good chunk of my profits. Where it's like, is this really all worth doing all this? You know what I mean? So I limited some of that.
But you also see me 5 years in. You know what I mean?
Right.
I started with Inventory Lab and then a repricer, but then I added the rest as I went. You know, it wasn't an immediate. I just did AZ labels this year. You know, I just did the accountant this year. You know, there's certain things that I keep adding as you keep going.
Right.
You know, you have to build at your own pace. You know, you can't compare yourself. You can listen to someone else and understand what they do and set those as goals, but it has to be right for you. It has to be right for your business. You know, it has to make sense.
Exactly.
So what makes sense for you may not make sense for somebody else, and it's important for people to understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the stuff that you use, it saves you a lot of time, and you do a lot of the stuff yourself. You know what I mean? So, you know, it does make a lot of sense because you're not paying for, you know, people to help you ship or do other things and stuff like that. So, you know, there is huge benefits to it if you're doing a lot, you know, super amounts of it. But like you said, that's what I'm doing. Like I'm just kind of adding pieces as I go. You know, like I went with Keepa because I seen how important, you know, that data was since they got rid of the free version of the ranks and stuff like that. Like, and I got one bad buy, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm paying $17 a month now because I want that information.
And for me, who does all discontinue, and I've chased for 5 years, I've got a good feel for it. I don't feel I need Keepa, so I don't spend the $17 there, which I could, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But you know, I feel my gut's good enough that it's big enough, so it should be good enough.
Yeah, once you've done it, like as long as you have, you know, like I can understand you not needing Keepa and stuff like that. You know, you kind of know how the seasonal stuff works a little better, and you know other things too. So where me, you know, it's a little bit uncharted waters because I started in January, so you know I haven't went through the Q4 on Amazon or you know some of the seasonal stuff. So I need that information to make better or you know better buys or you know, better investments.
Yeah, this is my 4th Q4, so, or I'm sorry, my 5th. So, of being full time, so it's but it's a lot of stuff. You're exactly right. A lot of stuff that I pay for and do is due to saving time. You know, people evaluate things different. I evaluate based on time and how it can give me time back because I have fought having an employee for years. I'm to the point where I'm next year. That's going to be one of my big things is probably hiring a couple of employees. But you know, I fought it for 5 years. You know, what can I do to make easier on me and save more of my time so I can get more done?
Right.
And it's worked for quite a while, but eventually you have to you get tired and you really need to allow yourself some help. So
well, I mean, you know, you get to a point where there's only, you know, you reach the cap of what one person can do. You know?
Right.
Yeah. And that's a lot of that's the difference between eBay and Amazon, in my opinion. you can make a lot of the same money, but you can sell more product and your time for Amazon versus eBay because there's once you get the busier you get on eBay, you've got to ship a whole lot. And my biggest year on Amazon by myself was 560. So there's no physical way to sell that much product on eBay.
Yeah, for sure. Do you still enjoy like all the pounding of the pavement, like the traveling and stuff that you do all the time?
Not as much as I used to.
Does it become more like work after a while, like once you've seen certain areas and stuff like that?
The honest truth, it changed, and when they diagnosed Joni with breast cancer, it changed.
Yeah,
I was already fighting midlife. You know, I just turned 50, and you run into the possibility of losing 31 years. We've been together 31 years. That was a distinct possibility that she could lose her life in this fight, and it really, the time on the road made it much harder. I don't like it anymore because you don't take time for granted as much whenever life changes.
Right.
And everything was going smoothly until then. I spent 6 months doing eBay. I was recharged. I was probably going to start Amazon this year again anyway, heavy, and then monkey wrench.
yeah,
So so everybody's journey is different. So I mean, there's still things to finish. There's 8 states I hadn't been to yet, so I'm going to finish. So I set out to do retail arbitrage in all 50. I got 8 left.
What are the you still need to do?
They're all far away.
Hawaii, Alaska,
Hawaii, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota. I did get South Dakota, and I haven't been to Minnesota. So those are those ones across. But now, it's funny how life changes. Now, Hawaii and Alaska, they move up the list because they're the fun ones. But they're also the ones that she wants to go with me. So they become more important because they're a lot more fun trip for me whenever she's with me.
Absolutely.
That's what's great about doing Amazon and eBay. Like you were asking questions, Anthony. Like, do you get burned out of just going hitting the road and doing that? Like, and that's why I do both, so I could switch it up and go with the seasons and stuff like that. Like that's why I went. That's part of the reason why I went with Amazon too, was because once October hit, garage sales are done in Pennsylvania. Like it's over. You know what I mean? Now I'm only seeing estate sales and thrift stores, and man, my sales dipped way down, except for some of the retail arbitrage stuff I did have for eBay. So, a lot of stuff I did have on eBay didn't sell, and it was selling for more on Amazon, and it was selling hundreds a day. And I'm like, man, I'm really missing the boat here. So you can switch your model up and change to how you feel or how you want to do it. If you found some great deals, or you just, I'm tired of going to garage sales, it's not worth it anymore. Or, now it's drying up like how it does for me, Anthony. Me and you are in the same boat here. And I'm sure Tommy too, he's up in Wisconsin. So it's the same thing for him. Now you can go the more of the RA end, and after Christmas and, right after Christmas and January, all the clearance stuff, and it gives a lot of opportunities for resellers and even on eBay too. Don't forget always to check eBay, and that's something I've been doing a little bit more of. I've not just looked at Amazon because I am gated in a lot of different things because I'm a newer seller. Scott has a wider thing. He could basically sell anything under the sun. So you know it's a different situation for me, and and that's what I love about it. That's what I love about doing this, and why I'm so excited and really, like I said, if I hit the lottery, I would jump and go do this today, guaranteed.
If people don't miss retail arbitrage, the eBay does work. You don't sell quite as many, but there's still people out there that are searching, especially if you do like I do and search discontinued items. There's a demand for an item that's no longer available and harder to get. So, I've got a friend who does all discontinued RA to eBay, and I think she outsells most of y'all on eBay. She sells 15 to 20,000 a month doing a retail arbitrage to eBay.
Wow.
Me, that's for sure. I'd say the best retail arbitrage I ever did to eBay was Ross Dress for Less. We got a huge score of, like, it was actually the third video I think we ever posted to the channel. We were getting new shoes like Jordans, Nikes, Currys, like all that stuff, anywhere from 49 cents all the way up to like $5-6 each. We ended up leaving Ross Dress for Less with like 3 full carts of stuff, and we cleaned up on those. But I'm still learning with the retail arbitrage. You know what I mean? Like, you probably can't see it because I'm so small in the box right now, but I've retail arbitrage all behind me. You know what I mean? And I know for a fact that a lot of the stuff I have is going to sell better on Amazon. The question is, am I gated in it or not?
Yeah, she does a mini model of what I do because she has young kids, and so she's home every night. So she travels within a day travel if she doesn't, a day or two a week, and so she's home every night with her kids. And she didn't have a fancy lighting kit or anything. She takes it. That's how I found her store. We've been talking for years, and she may come a comment, and I like that. I don't do a lot of it to eBay, but she's like, I take all the pictures on my bar, and I'm like, well, you sell this, and that's a bar. That's your channel. She started laughing. She's like, oh yeah, that was pretty easy, right? I mean, she sells that much, and no lighting kits, none of that stuff. Every picture of hers, they look the same because she's got the granite countertop. It's a matter of what you're looking for. It's a matter, discontinued works very well anywhere you go with it.
Yeah. Now, DC Sales says she's had very little luck with RA. As somebody who does it like primarily, I wouldn't say primarily, but for a lot of what you sell, what kind of advice would you give to somebody like that doesn't really succeed much with it, other than just keep trying?
The one thing I see people make the biggest mistake in is they assume that the value of an item is what it's worth to them. And so they won't scan a lot of stuff. There'll be stuff that they consider cheaper or not as good a brand, or for whatever reason, and they in their mind they think it's worth this, but it's a value they associate for themselves, and it's not what it's worth to you. It's what's worth somebody else will pay for it. And so you've got to learn to scan stuff that you got to be able to scan anything. The stuff over there is for kids. I've got a 21-year-old in college who'll be a rocket scientist in 6 months. He'll have an aerospace engineering degree in 6 months. What do I know about? I've had to teach myself toys. I don't know anything about toys, and I know even less about girls' toys. I've had to learn all that.
Like, I have a ton of boys' toys, but like the girls' toys, I struggle with.
I mean, it's almost a blessing because it's forced me to scan it all and learn it all a different way, because I don't have any preconceived idea. Who knew Paw Patrol was worth so much money? Man, people are crazy for Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
I've never seen the first Paw Patrol cartoon. I know who all the characters are because I know their names from all the packages.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't. So that's been good for me. But a lot of people struggle because, if it's they'll look up a name brand, but they won't look up like a Walmart brand. You'd be amazed what you can get from Walmart brands on eBay. I mean, on Amazon. I'm sorry, it does eBay, but not as well. But Walmart brands to Amazon, there's quite a few things I sell that are just go pick them up at Walmart. If I'm in Walmart, that's the only RA I do at Walmart anymore. I don't do the clearance is so bad. The clearance prices look good. You get them home, they've already crushed them. So I don't.
Right.
I generally stay away from Walmart, but
yeah, that especially on eBay you grab something, it'll be a great deal. And then you'll take it home, and then you look at it, and it's like 50 cents more than what you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why is it so cheap? Like, I got this for $1. You guys have done it for like $2 or $3 or something. Like, really? Like, why not sell it for 15 like it was regular price, or even 12 or 10? They just totally tank the price. I never understood that.
Yeah, Tommy's saying he'd have eye drops that would sell within 4 hours at 200 that he paid for $9.
That's awesome.
That was probably the same ones I was selling, Tommy. It was Refresh PM. You'd be amazed at Refresh PM and Refresh Lacrolube. I chased them things all the way to South Dakota and back. I damn near got a speeding ticket in Kansas. I was 2 blocks from my store when I got pulled over.
Unity the Good Life is asking you how good the 101 sale is this weekend. He said he's planning on going to.
I don't have a clue. This is the first time. Hey, I'll let you know in the video. Harlan and his brother are going with me. Harlan's in and out of the chat. So this is the first time. I think first time they've never been to it either. We generally do the world's longest yard sale on the other side of the state, but we've never done that one. So
speaking of like that kind of stuff, I saw recently that you were in Brimfield. I was literally the day you dropped your Brimfield video. I think I was there like maybe the day before or that same day.
The day before I was throwing up. So
gotcha.
I got into that area. I came specifically to buy that Christmas stuff, and I got there. I'm like my buddy Dan. I'm like, dude, I feel terrible. I don't know how am I even gonna make it to your house. I came in at like 10 o'clock. He had short sheeted my freaking bed. I'm like, dude, really? And at midnight, I was throwing up in it. Yeah. I'm like, you realize you're playing jokes on me, and I'm throwing up in your bathroom. But I was leaving. He's like, him and his girlfriend were going to Brimfield. It's like, I know you want to go, so I spent a couple hours doing that. It was the amazing thing, right? I mean, there wasn't a lot of cheap stuff there. There was a lot of stuff that was good prices.
Mm-hmm.
But the retail, for resale, you had to look.
Definitely. We walked away with like a bunch of toys, and that was it. And that was because I got them cheap. But I just thought it was cool. I was like, dang, man, I might have been walking around the exact same place as the bearded picker and didn't even know it.
We started, which end did we start on? We started on, it must have been the south end. We pulled right in and paid the park. There was some, because I had never been there before, I didn't have very good bearings. I drove in there, but I was just following him.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the town that we came through to get there.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I drove it, and I basically just followed Siri the whole way.
I should know we're the end buyers on that Kmart. I should know what the name of that town is. I have to look it up. We came through. Was it Palmer to get there? It must have been Palmer. Yeah, we came through Palmer to get there. But that was very interesting. It felt more like an antique show than it did a
It really did. Really did. I just thought it was cool that it was like basically the whole town. Like we paid to park in somebody's yard. So it was kind of cool how it like stretched throughout the whole thing.
There was one that was better than that. Last September or October, we were in Lake George, New York. And the town above Lake George, New York, one weekend out of the year turns into a complete yard sale, just like that.
Yeah.
Except it's more. It's all the vendors down the main aisle,
mm-hmm.
but then there's just tons of yard sales all everywhere, so you can actually get around. Where Brimfield was more like on that main drag, you're kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
So we were able to chase all the yard sales, and then there were a lot. It was more yard selling, so that was a lot of fun. Just all those yard sales.
I was expecting a lot more yard sales there, but yeah, that was the one thing that kind of disappointed me because I was more so looking to go to the yard sales. You know, I wanted to experience Brimfield, but I figured the deals would be like with the people rather than the vendors. But there wasn't a whole lot of that, at least that we experienced when we were there.
Yeah, when we were there, I was talking to one of the guys, the sign guys, and they come there from Ohio. Mm-hmm. And he said in 3 weeks they'd be in Texas, so they carried all their signs and did a traveling on some of these bigger ones. I think he said in Texas is it called Round Top or something like that, or some big flea market in Texas they were going to this a couple times a year.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go ship these items.
Yeah, I think we're coming up on looks like an hour and 40 minutes, so it's probably a good point to shut down the show. But I really appreciate you coming in, Scott, and sharing all that wisdom with us, man. And
Yeah, anytime, man, anytime, just shoot me a link. I'll be happy to tell you what little I know.
And you're always welcome too. Like if we're talking about a topic that you feel like you want to talk about, just say something in the chat. I'll send you a link. Not a big
Yeah,
deal.
most of the time in the chat, you guys are going while I'm shipping, so I say hello and then I just start shipping or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just listen to you guys carry on because you guys generally have good topics. Or it's I like staying in touch with eBay.
Yeah.
Even though my life is consumed with Amazon.
Mhm.
I gotta have somebody to list this eBay stuff. I'd be an eBay magnet if I get somebody to list all this stuff.
There we go. Sold a plush.
Yeah, somebody's having a good day.
I actually sold 3 items today. That's pretty good for me. My eBay is nowhere near what my Amazon is.
Yeah,
I was pretty happy with that.
See if I'm having a good day. I've sold 9 on Amazon so far.
nice.
I haven't even looked at mine yet. I usually check mine like every half hour.
Yeah, that's one thing you grow out of. I checked it. That's the first time I checked it today. I don't. But Dan's a newer seller, and so he's always saying, generally he outsells me. That dude, I'm telling you, don't let anybody tell you that, being a newer seller, he sold more than I have this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I sold 3 so far today.
Yeah, he's averaging about 1,200 a day. He's doing really well in sales on Amazon.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah, he's shooting to break $500,000 for his first year. He started in February.
Awesome.
Wow.
Nice.
He works a full-time job, so don't let anybody tell you it can't be done. It can be done. It's all about hustle and drive.
Now I gotta feel like I gotta step my game up now.
Well, once he had one product that he was in our Patreon. I'll tell the story there won't be. He was in our Patreon group, and he's like, I only joined the Patreon group to talk to you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You got my phone number because he did the upper level, and he called me. He's like, tell me about this product. I've been talking to him about his account, and he's like, he sent me a picture of it, and it was Keurig coffee makers, and they were in the cardboard like a regular box container. And he's like, they got a bunch of these, but look at the boxes. And then I told him, customers might be upset not to get it in the retail box because everything on Amazon should be the retail box. And he said, they're a great deal, but I'm kind of nervous because he'd only been selling for like a month.
Yeah.
And he sent me another picture, and I didn't see the text, and he left. And in the second picture he sent me, one of the boxes was open, and you could see the retail box inside the other one. So they were just shipping boxes. The retail was inside of it.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, you look at the second picture. Go back and buy them all.
Sure.
He bought them all. It ended up being 52 pallets of coffee makers.
That is awesome.
Wow.
He took out a second mortgage on his home and took a gamble on that. They were $17 a piece. He sold them for $120 each. He had 52 pallets.
Wow.
50 coffee makers on a pallet, 52 pallets.
Talk about a score.
Yeah.
That's life changing money. Now he can't spend it all.
Right?
Yep.
Life. It happens.
I need a score like that so I can get in my RV or whatever and quit my job.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah, that was. That was. He kept telling me, "Don't you want to come up here and buy some of these coffee makers?" I'm like, "Man, that's your fine. I'll celebrate with you." And we've become really, really good friends. But you'd be amazed how fast they sold. He got them in March, and by the end of April, he had sold all of them.
That's all.
Every bit of them.
Yeah, that just shows you a small sample size of the sales velocity on the Amazon versus eBay. eBay, how many of those would have sold? 10, 12?
Those were not in a store. Those were actually a direct from Keurig who were giving them away because they had too many.
That's awesome.
Wow.
He bought them from the person that got them, or the store that got them. But it wasn't the store wasn't a Walmart or anything. So you can find this stuff in any store. Don't eliminate a store just because you don't think there's anything there.
Right.
You never know till you walk in the door.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Sometimes it's better to go to other stores than the main stores. You can find some really some gems just like the one you're talking about. I find some really great stuff in some of the not mainstream stores or whatever.
Yeah, I
And
don't
plus
do main.
less competition too.
I gave up the mainstream stores, so Target and Walmart. Y'all can have them. Beardy Pickers out of those. Y'all can have them. So that's your inspiration for the weekend. Get out there and get it.
I'm excited now. Nate, send me those links, man, so I can order the supplies, and I'll get going here as soon as possible.
I'm gonna do it right now while I have it on my mind.
Okay, cool. Any closing words for any of you guys?
Oh, not so much, man. Just get your hustle on, do what you got to do to grow and make them sales.
Cool.
You can talk about it all you want, but until you do it, you ain't gonna get nowhere.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, we appreciate all you guys tuning in today. Tomorrow, we're going to be on Tommy's channel. That's the Bargain Effect. So if you're not subscribed, please do. Also, if you would, show Nate some love. He's still working his way up to 200. So go and show him some love. He's every day I'm hustling. And sometimes if you're looking him up, you have to type in eBay after his name or something like that to not get, what is it, Rick Ross or whoever.
Yeah. Rick Ross is killing me in the search results on YouTube.
Yeah, hopefully he'll start helping you in the search results.
Right.
Also, I'm sure all of you guys are subscribed to Scott, but if you're not, please subscribe to him as well, Bearded Picker. Although I'm 100% sure the majority of you guys are, not all of you. So I appreciate everyone being here, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning on Tommy's channel.
Sure. See you
Later,
guys.
everybody.